Hi, my name is Nicholas. Welcome to this week's Hatha practice. For props for today, a couple hard blocks, a soft block, and a strap will come in handy, and then anything else you like to practice with. When you're ready, I'll invite you to get started in child's pose. So if the shape works for you, then go for it. If you'd rather be in a shavasana or seated meditation or something like that, then choose that instead. Any version of child's pose if you're joining me, maybe knees wide. If you want a prop between hips and heels or something to support the forehead, that might be nice. Choose an arm expression that feels good here as well. They can be extended forward or back. You can have the elbows bent. Give the hips a little rock side to side. Let yourself settle in here. Maybe a rock for the head as well. Massage that space between the eyebrows. If any part of you feels a little fidgety here and you need a little more movement before you find stillness, then go for it. Otherwise, as you feel ready, start to quiet down the body. Maybe closing down the eyes. Start to check in here. Please choose stillness for as long as it serves you. Only when you feel ready to start to move the body, you can start to make your way up to a tabletop position any way you like to get there. And setting yourself up with the hands roughly underneath the shoulders and the knees roughly underneath the hips. And the next time you inhale, let the belly sag down, lift the heart space, maybe lift the gaze a little bit. And with your next exhale, press the hands to the floor, dome the upper back, chin towards the chest. Inhale, release the belly, start to lengthen through the front body. And exhale, start to lengthen through the back body. Moving nice and slow with your breath at your pace, a range of motion that feels good for you. And if there's anything extra your body's asking for here, maybe it's a turning of the head at the top of the inhale, a little more sneaking through the spine or something like that, then go for it. Last couple rounds here. The next time you inhale, return to your tabletop position. And then we'll bring the forearms down to the floor. Now elbows roughly underneath the shoulders, hands can interlace or you can keep the forearms parallel. And take a moment to build the foundation here, find that stability through the shoulders, maybe pressing those forearms into the floor a little more actively. And then as you're ready, you can step one foot and then the other to the back of the mat. If this doesn't work for the low back, you can lift the bum a little higher or you can lower the knees once again. If you're with me in forearm plank, keep the feet pressing to the floor, keep the elbows pressing down, and gazing downwards to keep the back of the neck long. And breathe here. The last 5 deep breaths, but if you need to come out sooner, that's fine too. If you're with me, take one last deep inhale breath. And with your exhale, lower the knees, then the pelvis, and eventually the chest down towards the floor. And tent the fingers out to the sides and slightly forward. You can also work with palms flat. And press the toenails to the floor, and with an inhale breath, lift the heart space up. As you exhale, dip the right shoulder, twist gently towards the left. Inhale, center. And second side. And again, with your range of motion, with the speed of your breath, and keep going. Last couple each side. Once you finish, take an inhale, lift up through center, and then slowly lower all the way down. And bring the hands back in underneath the shoulders. You can tuck the toes and press up to a tabletop position. And then lift the knees and press the hips up and back, and we'll find downward facing dog. Give yourself a little time here. You can pedal the heels, you can rock the hips side to side, you can pulse forward and back. Any movement that helps you steady up here. You can play with the proportions of your shape as well, if you need to widen your base or lengthen or anything like that. And keep the hands and feet active, tailbone lifted, head hanging nice and heavy. And eventually come and find your stillness in the shape. From your downward facing dog, take a deep inhale through the nose and a deep sigh out the mouth. Twice more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Now inhale, bend the knees deeply, look forward. And with your exhale, start to walk the feet towards the hands. Come and find your forward fold. And give your knees as much of a bend as you need here to make this feel okay for the low back. If you'd rather be in a halfway lift shape, you might bring a block under each hand. Maybe you want to take a bind here. You could do hands to opposite elbows. Or maybe you want to pedal the legs or sway the torso. Be wherever you need to be. And eventually, as you're ready, you can come and find stillness in the shape. And whatever your shape looks like, take a moment to notice the soles of the feet and notice where your weight is. Is it more in the heels or the toes, the inside or the outside of each foot? And see if you can balance that out. If you have a bind, you can let it go. Bring the hands onto the legs somewhere and then bend the knees a little bit to sink the hips. Now with an inhale, slowly start to round all the way up to stand, walking the hands up the legs. You can also pause anywhere along the way. If you arrive upright and you feel a little lightheaded, you can also come partway down and try that again. And when you do arrive, set the feet up roughly underneath the hips, wherever they feel the most natural. And then pressing the feet to the floor with an inhale, shrug the shoulders up to the ears. And with your exhale, soften back and down. And again, like that, inhale. And exhale. 3 more, nice and slow. And settling the shoulders back and down. And press the feet down with an inhale, circle the arms up towards the ceiling. And pause here, soften the shoulders. Now press down, inhale, reach up with the fingertips, and then make fists and cactus the arms. Inhale, reach up, lengthen, and like you're pulling a bar down, exhale, cactus. And keep going with your breath at your pace. Last 3. Last couple. And last one. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, release the arms down by your sides. Maybe give them a little shake out. And then when you're ready, take a big step back and we'll come to face the side of the mat. Point the toes out at an angle that feels comfortable for the knees, and then you can start to bend them. And we'll come and find goddess pose. You might take a rock side to side. Normally, or not normally, but if the knees and toes are tracking together, that might feel the most natural. And then find a depth that feels appropriate, something that you can sustain for a few breaths. As you're ready, you can bring the arms back to cactus. And slightly different movement now. As you inhale, open through the front body, maybe bring the elbows back a little bit. And then as you exhale, you can bring the forearms towards each other, maybe round through the upper spine. Inhale to open up, Maybe lift the gaze, and then exhale, forearms together. And keep going with your breath. Last 4. Maybe even sinking the hips a little deeper. Final one, inhale and exhale. Inhale, come all the way up, reach the arms up, parallel the feet. And then with your exhale, cross the left arm underneath the right. Hands can either find the shoulders or do eagle arms, bringing the palms or the backs of the hands together. Pressing down through the feet. Deep inhale, lift the elbows a little bit. And then as you exhale, start to hinge your way forward, coming towards a wide-legged forward fold. Let the arms be really heavy. And straight away, if you need the support of the hands, you can release the bind, maybe bring your blocks in. If there's anything you need to adjust in the feet, maybe where the feet are pointing or anything like that, then go for it. And then once again, notice your weight. And see if you can balance that out through the whole sole of each foot. If you have the bind, you can release it. And then with an inhale, come to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. And press down with the feet. Inhale, come all the way up, circle the arms up. And now with your exhale, cross the right arm underneath the left, finding your eagle arms or hands to shoulders on the second side. Inhale, breath, lift the elbows a little higher. And then you can hinge back in, come back to your forward fold, adjusting anything you need to here. If you have the bind, release. With an inhale breath, come to a halfway lift. With your exhale, fold in. And pressing the feet to the floor, inhale, circle the arms, come all the way back up. And then you can release the arms down to your sides. And bring the heels in, point the toes out, and we'll come back to a goddess squat. So adjusting the stance any way you need to for the second round. And you may find that you have room to come a little deeper as well. And from here, with an inhale, circle the arms up towards the ceiling. And then pause, soften the shoulders. You can interlace the hands here, or if you'd rather, use a strap if that feels better for the shoulders. Inhale, breath, stretch through the torso. And then with your exhale, arc over to the right any amount. Inhale up to center. And down to the left. And keep going with your breath, your pace, and a range of motion that feels good in the spine. 3 more each side. And if you need to give the legs a rest at any point, then go for it. Last one each side. Inhale, come up and release the arms. Now straighten the legs, parallel the feet, circle the arms with your inhale. And as you exhale, come back to that wide-legged forward fold and see what feels like a good expression for the shape. You're welcome to take the hands to the feet or to the low back. Maybe you're interlacing this time. If you're interlacing the hands, you could also lift fists up towards the ceiling. Be wherever you need to be. Listen to your body. If you have the hands interlaced, you can release them as you're ready. With an inhale, come to a halfway lift position. And from here, you can start to heel toe the feet a little bit closer together. When they're a little wider than the hips, point the toes out to an angle and then start to sink the hips to come and find your squat pose. Adjusting this any way you need, and if the hands need to stay down, then that's fine. If you want to bring blocks under the heels or make yourself a seat to take pressure out of the knees and the hips, then go for it. If you're bringing the hands to prayer, find a little bit of space across the chest here. If the elbows are pressing the knees apart, then create just enough resistance with the knees to find a sense of steadiness here. If you feel balanced too, then close down the eyes and take a few deep breaths. Hands can return to the floor as you're ready. And slowly start to lift the hips up. You can parallel the feet and give the hips just a little bit of a stretch, a little movement here. And then any way you like to get there, walk yourself to downward facing dog, facing the top of the mat. And take a moment to set up here and find the proportions that feel best. Actively pressing hands and feet to the floor. From your downward facing dog, with an inhale, lift the right leg up behind you. And then as you exhale, step the right foot forward between the hands. You can lower the back knee down to the floor, maybe adding some padding for it. Find your balance here, maybe walking that right foot to the right a little bit. And then as you're ready, you can come on up. Check in here, adjust anything that you need, and then reach the arms towards the front of the room. Finding a range of motion that works for you. With your inhale breath, start to raise the right arm up towards the ceiling, and then open towards the back wall as you come to a twist. Inhale breath, raise it up, And bring it forward. Inhale to lift. Exhale, twist open. Inhale, lift. Exhale, back to front. A few more with your breath. Two more full rounds. Last one. This time as you exhale, fingertips can come to the floor. And then shorten your base just a little bit. You can bring that back knee in and then kickstand the left foot over behind you. As you're ready, you can come on up into more of a side lunge here. And we'll actually extend the right leg towards straight and turn the right toes in. Left knee can be roughly underneath the left hip, and then find what feels most comfortable for the right leg. We'll set up for a side stretch here, so you can take the right hand to the right hip or to the leg somewhere, left arm up towards the ceiling, and deep inhale, and exhale, arc over towards the right. We'll hold here, so see what you need to do with the right hand to make this feel sustainable. And if you like to bend the left elbow, catch the head, then go for it. Nice and open across the chest and shoulder. Strong belly. With an inhale, come on up. And then lower the left hand down towards the left. Setting up for a side plank here, you might need to bring that back foot in a little bit. Left hand roughly underneath the left shoulder. Maybe out a little bit if that feels better for the shoulder. And press down through the left hand, through the right foot. Right arm can reach towards the ceiling. You can stay right here. Or if you like, you might step the left foot to the back of the mat as well. And stay here for a few deep breaths. Find that length from the heels to the crown, from one hand to the other. And stay here. One last inhale. And with your exhale, bring the right hand to the floor and come back to your down dog. We won't stay here. Inhale, lift the left leg up behind, and then bend the knee to stack the hips. You can also do this from tabletop. Balance out the shoulders here, both hands pressing evenly to the floor. And you might take a couple circles with the lifted leg, or you can bend and extend. And then when you're ready, you can lower the left foot back to the floor. And from your down dog, inhale, come forward towards plank, and then lower all the way down to the belly. We'll stay on the belly here, so if you want to bring props for under the shoulders or anything like that, then go for it. Make sure you have a little room out in front as well. We'll reach the arms forward in space, plugging the elbows to the floor, and then bringing the palms together to point towards the ceiling. Lowering the forehead. Breathe here. As you feel ready to, gently releasing your prayer arms, bring the hands under the shoulders, tucking the toes, and then press yourself up to tabletop. As you feel ready, come up and find your downward facing dog. Once you find your downward facing dog, with an inhale, lift the left leg up behind you. And now step the left foot forward between the hands, lowering the back knee to find your lunge. And then maybe heel toe left foot to the left a little bit. Find your balance here. Strong belly, and come on up. Check in with the hips, check in with that back knee. Add some padding if you need to. And reach the arms forward in space. Right arm stays where it is. Inhale, breath. Lift the left arm up towards the ceiling. With your exhale, twist open. Reach the arm back. Inhale, breath. Lift. And exhale, return to center. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And 5 more rounds. Keep going with your breath and a range of motion that feels good for the shoulders, chest, spine. Last 2 full rounds. Final one. Lowering the hands to the floor this time. And then shorten your base just a little bit. And kickstand the right foot behind you now. And then come on up to your side lunge. We'll extend the left leg and turn the left foot in. So facing the side of the room now, with the right knee roughly underneath the right hip. Setting up for that side stretch to see where you want the left hand, maybe to the hip, to the leg somewhere. Generally, we don't put too much pressure on the knees. Right arm can reach up. Deep inhale, lengthen from the right knee to the right fingertips. And then exhale, arc over towards the left. Maybe bending the left elbow or the right elbow to catch the head. Lots of space through the whole right side of the body here. And hold the belly. Inhale, breath, reach back up. And then slowly lower the right hand down towards the right. And take a moment to set yourself here. Really actively press that right hand down. Find the stability through the shoulder. If there's pinching or anything, you might try it a little bit further away from you. Press down through the right hand, through the left foot. Left arm reaches towards the ceiling. And then either stay here. If you want, you can step the right foot to the back of the mat as well. And breathe wherever you are. Deep inhale. And with your exhale, left hand comes down and find your downward facing dog. We won't stay. Inhale, breath, lift the right leg up, and then stack that right hip on top of the left. Notice if this puts all the weight in the left arm, see if you can balance that out with the right. And again, you might take some circles here, or you can bend and extend, and you can do this from tabletop as well. When you're ready, return to your downward facing dog, and then inhale forward to plank. Lower all the way to the belly. Untuck the toes and take the arms out in front, bending the elbows, and prayer hands towards the ceiling, and forehead resting on the floor. As you feel ready, you can slowly re-extend the arms, walking the hands under the shoulders, and press yourself up to a tabletop position. Find your soft block and have it nearby, placing it near the center of the top of the mat. And then from your tabletop, with an inhale, lift the right arm out towards the right. As you exhale, you can thread the right arm through, settling the right shoulder, maybe the right side of the head to the floor. You can slide your prop in to make it a little more comfortable. And then check in with the hips. Notice if they've started to sway out towards the left. See if you can gently bring them back to center. If everything feels secure through the head, neck, and shoulders, and you don't need the left hand for support, you could think about bringing the left hand to meet the right, or maybe going for that half bind, reaching the left hand towards the right hip. Whatever you're choosing, make sure it feels pain-free. Find your stillness as you're ready, and breathe here. And bringing that left hand back to the floor if it's somewhere else. And gently brace yourself down with an inhale breath. Slowly reach the right arm all the way back up. And then back to tabletop. We'll go straight to the second side. Inhale, lift the left arm. And then thread the left arm through. Settling left shoulder, left side of the head to the floor. Checking in with the hips. Gently bring them back towards midline. And this side may feel completely different to the first. So if you need to modify or use your props differently, then go for it. Right hand can stay. Maybe it finds the left or your half bind. Gently bring the right hand back to the floor. Brace down, and with an inhale, unravel, reach the left arm up towards the ceiling, and then return to your tabletop. And from your tabletop, look around for your hard blocks, and you can stack them between the ankles. Also, if you're using a strap today, just make sure it's nearby in case you need it. And then from your tabletop, we'll bring the left knee forward and kickstand the left foot over towards the right. And then bring the right knee just behind the left knee, right foot over towards the left. And slowly, you can start to walk yourself back, bringing the hips to land on your props. I like to start off with 2 blocks and then check in to see that the hips feel level with one another. And then if they do, the option to remove one and then see if they still feel level. If you find yourself kind of leaning heavily to one side, then you might want to add a little more height. For some people, the knees are quite separate, so sometimes sliding a soft block or something can feel quite anchoring there. And then adjust anything else that you need to here. Make sure it feels like a pain-free expression. If you want to add on the arms as well, and take your strap to the right hand, it's okay if it's a loop. Reach the right arm up towards the ceiling, and then bend the right elbow so that the hand is kind of near the back of the neck. Left arm reaches left with the thumb pointing down, and then bend that elbow to catch the other end of the strap. And from here, if you want, you can bring the hands a little bit closer together. But if it makes you curl inwards to do this, see what you can do to keep the spine nice and tall. And again, making sure it's a pain-free expression. So if there is pinching in the shoulders, give yourself a little more slack here. And then settle in and breathe. And if you have the bind, you can gently release the left hand and then the right, bringing your strap back to the floor. And if the arms need a little shake out, then go for it. And then you can roll back over the knees and we'll set up for the second side. You can unravel the legs back to tabletop. And then we'll take the right knee out in front this time, right foot over towards the left. And then the left knee just behind the right, left foot over towards the right. And then slowly start to walk yourself back. It might be helpful to start off with 2 blocks once again, even if you came down to 1. Things aren't completely symmetrical side to side, so check in, make sure that the hips feel level, and then go forward to remove props. Any other adjustments you need to make here? And when you're ready to add the arms, strap to the left hand, and then bend the left elbow, left hand roughly behind the neck, right arm out towards the right, thumb pointing down, and then bend that elbow to catch the other end. And you might walk the hands a little closer. Proud chest. If the shoulders are shrugging, maybe they can soften. Tall spine. And maybe close down the eyes. Breathe here. Gently release the right hand as you feel ready, and then release the left. Moving your strap off to the side, give the arms, the shoulders a little gentle movement. And then when you're ready, you can lean back to release the legs as well. Maybe give them a little shake out, a little windshield wiper, see what feels good. And when you're ready, you can hop off of your hard block. And you might choose to switch it out for the soft one, giving the hips just a little extra height. And then we'll set up for a twist. So you can start by bending the right knee across the left leg, and left leg can stay extended like this, or if you prefer to bend that knee as well and have the left foot by the right hip, then go for it. And start off by lengthening the spine a little bit, softening the shoulders. And the right hand can come behind you, left arm can reach towards the ceiling. Take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, twist towards the right. You can connect the left elbow with the right knee any way you like. If the floor is a little far away behind you, maybe you're using a block there. If there's anything else you need here, then go for it. As you're ready with an inhale breath, unravel back to center and then take a counter twist. And both hands down to the left. And to transition, you can either release the legs and reset up, or if you like, start walking the hands behind you in a counterclockwise direction and keep going, keep going, keep going, and then eventually you may end up on the second side. It might need a little tidying up. Either way, this time the left leg is bent and crossed over, and maybe this side you do need the right leg extended, so do whatever you need. Lengthen the spine, soften the shoulders. Left hand behind, right arm lifts, deep inhale, and then twist, exhale, connecting that front elbow to knee, adjusting the back hand as needed, tall spine, soft shoulders. As you feel ready, gently unravel back to center and take a counter twist over towards the right. If you want to keep things even, you can walk the hands around in a clockwise direction Ending up back at the first side, and then release the legs, give them a little shake out, maybe a tap for the backs of the knees or anything else. And from here, as you're ready, we'll lower all the way down onto the back. And take a moment to get comfortable. And then we'll set up, we'll cross the left ankle just above the right knee. Setting up for thread the needle on the back, you can stay right here. You can reach through to catch hold of the hamstring or the shin. Or if you like to add one more stretch in, you can also find your strap to loop up that right foot. It might be helpful to loop it up before you cross. So looping up the foot, and then you might extend the right leg up towards the ceiling, holding one end of the strap in each hand. Make sure that both knees feel comfortable with this. If the low back is lifted, see if you can keep that nice and grounded, even if it means that the foot needs to bend or come down a little bit. If you have the strap, you can gently release the leg, uncrossing, and then see what feels good in between sides. You might pause for a couple of breaths, or if you want a windshield wiper, that might feel nice as well. When you're ready, you can set up for the second side. So straight away, you can cross the right ankle, or if you're using the strap, it might feel helpful to loop the left foot this time. And then cross the right foot over the left knee. Slowly start to lift up and then see how it goes. You can stay here, hands to the hamstring, to the shin, or maybe you're extending the left leg towards the ceiling. And take your time to find your pain-free expression, and then come and find your stillness here. Gently start to release the left leg and uncross the right. And you can put your strap down to the side. And come and find any release that you need, maybe resting in stillness or windshield wiper. If you're happy windshield wipering, you're welcome to stay. Otherwise, you might collect the knees into the chest and then reach between the knees to catch hold of the feet, the ankles, or the shins, and come and find happy baby. And you might choose stillness in your happy baby, or you might keep the rock going. You could play with extending one leg and then rebending to extend the other. Eventually, you might come and find your stillness in the shape. As you feel ready to, you can gently release the feet, let them return to the floor, and then check in if your body's asking for any last quiet shape or movement. You might find that here. Otherwise, you can set yourself up for your Shavasana, your rest pose. Adding in any props that would help you feel a little more comfortable, a little more settled here. And choosing any comfortable symmetrical pose. So legs can be extended. You could do butterfly legs. If you'd rather come back to child's pose or be in a seated meditation, then go for it. And take your time to get nice and settled. As you do, let the body start to get heavy here. And soften anything you don't need. Find your stillness and your rest. Gently bring your attention back to the space, deepening the breath to reawaken the body. And then bringing a little movement in, wiggling the fingers and the toes, maybe giving the head a gentle rock side to side. Letting the movements get a little bigger, circling wrists and ankles. You might reach the arms up overhead and give yourself a full body stretch. And then rolling down to one side, take a pause for a couple of breaths. And as you're ready, with the support of the hands, come up to find any comfortable seated position. And settle in for a moment as you're ready. Grounding down through the hips, gently lengthening the spine. Hands can rest wherever they've landed. And then take an inhale breath, shrug the shoulders up to the ears, and soften them down and back as you exhale. A few more times, inhale and exhale. Last one. Hands can stay where they've landed, or you can connect the palms in front of the heart. Maybe bow the chin in towards the chest. Thank you for sharing your breath and your practice today. Namaste. Thanks for joining me for this week's Hatha practice. And my name is Nicholas. If you have any questions, please reach out and enjoy the rest of your week.